Hey folks, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of Pedro Alonso Lopez, also known as the Monster of the Andes, a Colombian serial killer and sexual offender who terrorized South America from 1969 to 1980. Born in poverty, Lopez claimed to have murdered over 300 victims, mostly young women and girls. After serving time in prison for auto theft, Lopez sought revenge against fellow inmates who sexually assaulted him. Upon release, he embarked on a killing spree, claiming the lives of hundreds of girls in Peru and Colombia. Although captured briefly by an indigenous tribe in Peru, he was eventually released by the authorities. In 1980, Lopez was arrested in Ecuador after attempting to abduct a 12-year-old girl. He received a 16-year sentence for murders committed in Ecuador, the maximum penalty at the time. After serving his sentence, he was deported to Colombia and institutionalized. Released from psychiatric care in 1998, Lopez became a fugitive wanted in connection with a murder in 2002, and his current whereabouts remain unknown as of 2023. Welcome back to Conundrum, where we delve into the minds and history of serial killers. If you like this type of content, please like the video, subscribe if you are not yet subscribed, and ring a notification bell. Stick to the end of the video for more information about ongoing giveaway. Thank you for being here. Pedro Alonso Lopez's early life was marked by hardship and trauma. He was born in Colombia in 1948 to Benilda Lopez de Castañeda, a prostitute, and Megdardo Reyes, who was murdered before Pedro's birth. Growing up in a violent and fatherless household with 12 siblings, Lopez had a difficult childhood. At the age of 9, Lopez was banished from home after his mother caught him trying to assault his sister. Homeless and vulnerable, he wandered the streets of Bogotá, where he became a victim of frequent sexual abuse. At 12, he was adopted by an American immigrant family, but the traumatic experience of being sexually assaulted by a teacher led him to flee. In 1969, Lopez was sentenced to 7 years in prison for auto theft. While incarcerated, he experienced a horrifying ordeal of being brutally assaulted by 4 other inmates. In a violent act of retaliation, he hunted down and killed those inmates. The killings were ruled as self-defense, but 2 more years were added to his prison sentence. Lopez's early life was marked by tragedy and abuse, setting the stage for the dark path he would later embark on as a notorious serial killer and sexual offender. After being released from prison in 1978, Pedro Alonso Lopez embarked on a chilling killing spree that terrorized the northwestern region of South America. Drifting through the area, he arrived in Peru, where he claimed to have committed over 100 murders, mostly targeting vulnerable street children and young girls from indigenous tribes. Though the exact number of his victims remains unverifiable, it is undeniable that Lopez's actions left a trail of horror and devastation. During his time in Peru, Lopez was briefly captured by an Ayacuchoan indigenous tribe in south-central Peru after attempting to abduct a 9-year-old girl. The tribe reacted strongly to his heinous act, stripping him of his clothes and possessions before burying him in the sand. Thankfully, an American missionary intervened, persuading the tribe to release Lopez and hand him over to the police. However, shockingly, the authorities did not detain him, and he was inexplicably expelled from the country. Lopez continued his sinister journey, traveling across South America. As he moved from one place to another, the number of missing persons, particularly young girls, started to rise noticeably. Authorities at first dismissed these disappearances as cases of human trafficking, unaware of the evil presence lurking behind them. In April 1980, a tragic incident shed light on Lopez's monstrous deeds. Flash flooding in the areas surrounding Envato, Ecuador unearthed the remains of several young girls who had been reported missing. This shocking discovery prompted the police to reopen their investigations and led to Lopez's eventual arrest later that same year. Pedro Alonso Lopez's heinous crimes had caused unimaginable suffering and sorrow throughout the region. As his horrifying acts were unveiled, the communities he had victimized were left grappling with the chilling realization of the true extent of his brutality. The dark chapter of his reign of terror had come to an end, but the scars he left on the hearts of the victims' families and the affected communities would endure for generations to come. Following the devastating flooding that exposed the remains of missing young girls, the heinous crimes of Pedro Lopez were brought to light. Not long after this tragic incident, a courageous local woman named Carvina Poveda was heading to the market with her 12-year-old daughter Marie when Lopez attempted to abduct the young girl. However, the determined efforts of local merchants thwarted his vile intentions, overpowering Lopez and holding him until the police arrived. Once in police custody, Lopez initially remained silent, refusing to cooperate during his interrogation. However, a shrewd move was made by Police Captain Pastor Cordova, who posed as a fellow inmate in Lopez's cell and skillfully gained his trust. Under this pretense, Lopez began to confess his monstrous crimes. Shockingly, he revealed that he had brutally murdered over 200 victims in Ecuador, tens more in Peru, and an even larger number in Colombia. Lopez coldly described his method of operation, which began with luring his victims away from public spaces using a trinket as bait. He would then subject them to unspeakable acts of sexual assault and strangulation, using his bare hands as instruments of destruction. Disturbingly, he further confessed to exhuming some of the victims' bodies from their burial sites, engaging in macabre tea parties with their lifeless forms. Asked about his motive for such heinous acts, Lopez chillingly revealed that he had lost his innocence at a young age and decided to inflict the same pain upon as many girls as possible. Following his confession, Lopez directed the authorities to the burial sites of 53 victims, leading to the confirmation of a total of 110 murders. In 1980, Lopez was convicted of murder and sentenced to 16 years in prison, the maximum penalty available in Ecuador at the time. However, the true horror of his crimes, coupled with his unverifiable claims of killing over 300 victims, cemented his legacy as one of the most notorious serial killers in history. The families he shattered would never be the same again, leaving a haunting legacy of tragedy and darkness in his wake. After serving his prison sentence at the Garcia Moreno prison near Quito, Pedro Alonso Lopez was released 2 years early on August 31, 1994. In a chilling interview just before his release, Lopez arrogantly referred to himself as the man of the century, and audaciously claimed that he was being set free for good behavior. Upon his release, Lopez was deported to Colombia, but upon arrival, he was detained as an illegal immigrant and promptly handed over to Colombian authorities. Prosecutors attempted to build a case against him, but their efforts were thwarted, leading to the shocking decision to declare him insane and commit to a mental hospital in 1994. 4 years later, in 1998, Lopez was declared sane, and he was surprisingly released on a meager $70 bail under the condition that he would regularly report to the authorities. Almost immediately, he seized the opportunity to escape and disappeared from their grasp once again. Upon his release, Lopez visited his mother, but any hope of redemption or remorse quickly vanished as he demanded his inheritance. Learning that she had nothing to give, he callously sold her cherished chair and bed to strangers on the street. The last known sighting of Lopez was in September 1999 when he visited the National Civil Registry to renew his citizenship card. Since then, he has remained elusive, and in 2002, Colombian National Police and Interpol issued warrants for his arrest in connection to a murder that bore chilling similarities to previous modus operandi. While the Interpol warrant was later deactivated in 2005, Lopez continues to evade capture, earning him the status of a wanted fugitive. His reign of terror, it seems, was far from over, as he has also been linked as a possible suspect in a 2012 homicide in Tuña, Colombia. The elusive and dangerous Pedro Alonso Lopez continues to haunt law enforcement agencies and communities alike, leaving a lingering fear that one day he may resurface and unleash terror once again. It's been a big journey, and now we've achieved 1,000 subscribers. I want to thank all those who watched this video until the end, and all my viewers who have supported me over the last couple of months. As a token of appreciation, I will be hosting a giveaway to celebrate this achievement. In the following days, I will leave a link for the giveaway in the description and in the comment. This video is a sort of remake, and I hope you like it. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe, and if you're feeling generous, you can also leave a super thanks. In the future, I will be remaking some of my videos due to some complaints as well. I really hope you like those too. I am Alex and this is Conundrum. Stay curious and stay safe.